Hello everyone. So this is the second video of this line-wise explanation series of the chapter Should Wizard Hit Mummy. So in that first video we came to know about the four characters of the family, the father and the mother and the daughter and the son. And the father ultimately started speaking the story and the reactions of the daughter we know. So from that part I am going to read. Well, he walked along very sadly and came to a very big tree, and in the tip top of the tree was an enormous wise old owl. Good. Means the daughter is already having the idea that what's going to happen next. Mr. Owl, Roger Skunk said, all the other little animals run away from me because I smell so bad. So you do, the owl said. Very, very bad. What can I do? Roger Skunk said, and he cried very hard. So now there is a kind of conversation between the owl and Roger Skunk. The wizard, Joe shouted and sat right up, and a little golden book spilled from the bed. And Joe already know that what's going to happen next, as I am saying. So Joe is saying to the father, wizard, wizard, send him to the wizard now. Now Joe, Daddy is telling the story. Do you want to tell Daddy the story? Now the storyteller, obviously the father, is irritated by these kind of things. No, you, me. Then lie down and be sleepy. Her head relapsed onto the pillow and she said, out of your head. Well, the owl thought and thought. At last he said, why don't you go see the wizard? Now the father is again started speaking about the story, and the father ultimately sent the character Roger to the wizard. Daddy, what? Are magic spells real? Means now Joe is asking to the father. This was a new phase, just this last month, a reality phase. When he told her spiders eat bugs, she turned to her mother and asked, do they really? And when Clary told her God was in the sky and all around them, she turned to her father and insisted, with a sly yet eager smile, is he really? They are real in stories, Jack answered curtly. So now that little daughter is having some doubts which she needs a kind of clarification, and Jack is answering, they are real in stories. She had made him miss a bit in the narrative. Now again coming back to the story. The owl said, go through the dark woods, under the apple trees, into the swamp, over the creek. What's a creek? A little river. Over the creek, and there will be the wizard's house. And that's the way Roger Skunk went, and pretty soon he came to a little white house and he rapped on the door. Okay, so now ultimately Roger Skunk is going as per the address given by the owl. Jack rapped on the window sill, and Jack is also making some kind of sound in order to give a kind of special feeling or special effect, we can say, to the story. Okay, he is making the sound, and under the covers Joe's tall figure clenched in an infantile thrill, and then a tiny little old man came out, and with a long white beard and a pointed blue hat, and said, what's this? What you want? You smell awful. Now ultimately that old man is coming. You can see the image. So that old man is coming, and the old man is speaking to the creature. Who is there? What do you want? The wizard's voice was one of Jack's own favorite effects. He did it by scrunching up his face and somehow whining through his eyes, which felt for the interval rheumy. He felt being an old man suited him. So the wizard's voice, actually this old man voice is Jack's favorite one, the voice. Okay, and the way he is speaking the dialogues of this particular character, he is very happy. I know it, Roger Skunk said, and all the little animals ran away from me. The enormous wise old Owl said you could help me. Now skunk is saying to the character, please help me. Ah, well, maybe, come on in, do not get too close. Now inside Joe, there were all these magic things, all jumbled together in a big dusty heap, because the wizard didn't have any cleaning lady. Okay, so now they are entering into that particular room, the two characters of that prose, the wizard and skunk. Why? Why? Because he was a wizard and a very old man. Will he die? No, wizards don't die. Well, he rummaged around and found an old stick called a magic wand and asked Roger Skunk what he wanted to smell like. Roger thought and said, roses. Now the wizard is asking with that magic stick that what kind of smell you want. So he is saying roses. Yes, good. Joe said smugly. Smugly means smartly. Jack fixed her with a trance-like gaze and chanted in the wizard's elderly, irritable voice. Now Jack is chanting something, the magic spells. Abracadabra, hocus poo, Roger Skunk, how do you do? Roses, boses, pool and here, Roger Skunk, you never fear, bingo. So ultimately this spell was uttered by the father in a very funny way, which is quite irritable also. Okay. So the wizard ultimately uttered this spell. He paused as the rapt expression widened out from his daughter's nostril, forcing her eyebrows up and her lower lip down in a wide, noiseless grin, an expression in which Jack was startled to recognize his wife feigning pleasure at cocktail parties. And all of a sudden, he whispered, the whole inside of the wizard's house was full of the smell of roses, roses. Roger Fish cried. And the wizard said, very cranky, that will be 7 pennies. So now the storyteller, the father, is having different kinds of things in his mind. Okay, the wife's feigning, the expression that he can see on the face of the daughter, and he somehow uttered a wrong name in front of the daughter. He said, you can see here, Roger Fish cried. So today's story is not about Roger Fish, it is about Roger Skunk. So as a family man, he is having also different tensions. So somehow he missed. And now the wizard is saying 7 pennies, the charge. Joe, Daddy. Jack, what? Roger Skunk, you said Roger Fish. Yes, yes, skunk, skunk. You said Roger Fish, was not that silly? Now the daughter is complaining, why are you saying fish? Today's story is about skunk. Very silly of your stupid old daddy. Where was I? Well, you know about the pennies. Now the father is saying, yes, yes, you are right, very silly, I am sorry. So let us stop here. So in this video we came to know about that same plot, the character is going and ultimately the problem is solved by the wizard, right? And now there will be some conversation regarding this particular story that the father is saying to the daughter. So we will get to know about that part in our third video, right? Thank you.